What is a lab experiment in economics? Insights of an experimental session. In an experimental laboratory, there are several computers connected to a common server controlled by the experimenter. Computers are isolated from each other so that the subjects cannot communicate between them unless it is allowed by the experimenter. Subjects are usually students who volunteer to participate to an experiment. Their names are drawn randomly from a list. They are then invited to participate to an experimental session at a given date. At the beginning of the planned session, they each walk into the experimental room and are assigned randomly a seat in front of a computer. Then they are invited to read the instructions silently. These instructions are also read aloud by the experimenter who answers potential questions from the subjects before the experiment begins. Generally, a rapid test of understanding is conducted to make sure that the instructions are well understood by all subjects. The experimenter can then respond to the questions asked by the students. The decision screen allows the subjects to communicate their decisions. The results of their choices are then displayed on the screen when all the subjects have taken their decisions. An experiment usually contains several successive decision-making periods and can have several sequences with different instructions. At the end of the experiment, each subject can see on his screen his final individual earnings. These individual earnings depend on subjects' choices and possibly on choices of the other members of their group if the experiment is a game with interactions. The subjects are then called one by one to be paid in cash according to their earnings in the experiment. These monetary incentives are the way to mimic the conditions under which decisions are taken in a true economic situation.